Well, so my hope for the summit is that that there's a consensus, international consensus on the initially insight into advanced AI. We start with insight. I think there's a lot of concern among people in the AI field that that the government will sort of jump the gun on rules before knowing what to do, and I think that's unlikely to happen. I think what we're really aiming for here is to establish a framework for insight so that there's at least a third-party referee, an independent referee, that can observe what leading AI companies are doing and at least sound the alarm if they have concerns. So we start off with insight, like a sort of a referee. You can think of it like any sport. I think for the public to understand, I think the public can really understand it from the standpoint of that every sport has a referee. You're not going to have a football game without a referee. You're not going to have a rugby or cricket game without a referee. And that's it's in order to ensure fair play. And that's, I think, what we're aiming for here is to figure out, first to establish that there should be a referee function. I think there should. And then but be cautious in how regulations are applied. So you don't go charging in with regulations that inhibit the positive side of AI. So that's why I'm really emphasizing initially start with insight. We start with observation from a neutral third party. Then you have proposed rulemaking where you talk to the various players in the AI industry. And say, okay, what does everyone agree would be fair rules, just like you would for a sport? And then you figure out a way to implement the rules that everyone generally agrees are right. Yeah.
And you talk a lot personally about the longevity of humanity, possible threats of extinction, depopulation. How high do you rank AI as a threat to humanity?
I think AI is one of the biggest threats. So, I mean, we are, for the first time, we have a situation where there's something that is going to be far smarter than the smartest human. So, we're not stronger or faster than other creatures, but we are more intelligent. And here we are, for the first time, really in human history, with something that's going to be far more intelligent than us. So it's not clear to me we can actually control such a thing, but I think we can aspire to guide it in a direction that's beneficial to humanity. But I do think it's one of the existential risks that we face, and it's potentially the most pressing one. If you look at the time scale and the rate of advancement, I think the summit is timely, and I applaud the Prime Minister for holding it.
Just on the Prime Minister, you're meeting him today, is that right?
I think we're probably meeting today, but I think we're having a sort of a online discussion tomorrow.
Do you have an idea of what you're going to say to him? Are you pressing for a certain type of policy in the UK?
No, I think, like I said, I think we're as I was saying earlier, this is not. I'm not pressing for a particular philosophy. I'm not pushing for a particular policy. I'm simply saying, let's try to establish a framework for insight by neutral third parties. Once we have a framework for insight, then there'd be some proposed policies or proposed rulemaking and that would be done in concert with the AI companies, and then it's sort of like to go back to the sports analogy. What do all the teams in the game think would be fair rules that everyone should play by? And that's what we want to establish. But before I don't know what necessarily the fair rules are, but you've got to start with insight before you do oversight.